So here's the deal. When people read my bio or when they find out that I was an 11-year veteran of the professional cheer industry, 8 years in the NFL and 3 years in the NBA, they make a lot of assumptions about me. Specifically, they assume that I have a very extensive dance background, that I was birthed being able to do double and single pirouettes, that I have a lot of technical dance training under my belt. Well, let me tell you, none of that is correct. So here's the deal. I had no formal dance background. I had no formal dance experience or training. I was never a dancer growing up. I was a track and field runner and a cheerleader. I did not even know what a pirouette was, much less being able to actually execute a single pirouette or a double pirouette. I was not fluid with my movements and my motions. I didn't know how to express my body in a way that really told a story through music. But you know what? I was able to transition from being a cheerleader into a dancer. And in this video, I am going to share with you how. So this is one of the questions that I actually get often, mainly from our cheerleaders out there. So how do I transition from being a cheerleader into a dancer? So as you know, the NFL cheerleaders or the NBA cheerleaders are actually dancers at heart. There are only a couple of teams that are actually motion-based that are cheerleaders at the professional level. Most of the teams are dance teams, which means you do need to be able to dance. And it's not to say that cheerleaders can't dance, because when I was a cheerleader, we definitely danced and I absolutely loved what I called cheer dance. But it was very motion-based, very sharp, very tight, and it was just a different form of dance. In the pros, you really need to take your dance experience and your dance level to another level, if that makes sense. And I'm gonna just give you 5 tips that can hopefully help you transition from being a cheerleader into a dancer. So tip number 1, immerse yourself into as many dance classes as you possibly can. I am going to recommend ballet because that's really going to help you with your posture, your form, your placement, and just making sure that you have all of that into your muscle memory. It's going to really help you with turns and balances and spotting, and it's just a great way for you to learn your body and to strengthen your feet, your ankles, your toes, all of that. So ballet is great if you do not have a technical dance background at all and you do not know how to do turns. Also jazz and definitely hip hop, simply because based on the team that you want to audition for, they're normally going to have some form of dance as it relates to jazz and then dance as it relates to hip hop. So really just do your research to try to figure that part out. But in your jazz class and your dance classes, you're really gonna learn how to pick up choreography, and you're gonna put yourself in an environment where you have to learn dances kind of in a tight time frame. Also, most jazz classes have a cross the floor technique, and that's really, really helpful at the professional level. So take as many dance classes as you possibly can, because taking these dance classes will help you with tips number 2 through 5 that I'm gonna go over right now. So tip number 2, you have to dance and feel the music. So I remember being a cheerleader, all of my dances were to counts, but it was just about being sharp and powerful and expressive and looking as though you just had fun. When you're dancing at the pro level, or even just jazz, ballet, you know, whatever genre it is, you really want to think about feeling the music and expressing through the music. And think about your body as an expression or as an expressive instrument, if that makes sense, so that you can communicate feelings and emotions based on the music. And so it really is about feeling your music so that you can perform the music in the right way. Number 3, you have to know when to be sharp versus when to be fluid. So in cheer, it really is about hitting your movements very sharp, hitting your high V, your low V's, your T's with a lot of power and force. And in dancing for the pros, you still want to be powerful and you still want to be expressive and sharp, but sometimes in a different way. So you have to know certain routines are going to be more motion-based, and you want to look at the choreography and you'll notice the sharpness of those movements. But then other dance styles are going to be more fluid and more relaxed, and you're going to move through your movements and not just hitting your movements. So I know that that might be kind of hard to understand, but if you really just look at a routine and look at how some dancers are moving through their movements and not just hitting their movements, because there is a difference. Number 4. Oh wait, let me give you this little tip too. One thing that really helped me to kind of move from being sharp to more fluid is I stopped dancing with really tight fists. So in cheerleading, everything just about is fist, right? Every now and then you might hit motions and blades, but everything is nice and sharp. Even in a blade, it's still tight and sharp, and all of your muscles are really strong, and you're tense. When you're dancing with more of a fluid in nature, I try to relax my wrist and my arms and my hands and try to move through things, if this makes sense, instead of just hitting things, right? So you just want to kind of move through, and the way that I was able to do that was just kind of relaxing my hands. And it's hard for me to really show you because I have this little rectangle of an area that I'm shooting this video in. But think less about being tight and tense and just maybe relaxing through this part and keeping all of this nice and lowered and relaxed. So that, hopefully that helps and that makes sense. Okay, number 4, you have to pick up your technique. So you have to be able to do single pirouettes, double pirouettes, your leaps in second, spotting across the floor, balances, all of that. You have to master at a minimum the basic techniques, and then obviously you want to go ahead and advance to your more advanced skills. But you really want to get comfortable with balances and being centered and your posture and all of that. And movements are just different. So for example, you might be really good at a toe touch, but that's different from a leap in second. So a toe touch, your legs are going up at the same time, you're almost pushing your butt back and you're kind of leaning forward, whereas a leap in second, your one leg goes up at a time, one followed by the other, and you're more lifted and it's more graceful. So there's just these little nuances that you have to be able to kind of transition into and from being a cheerleader into a dancer. All right, number 5, breathing. And I know that this sounds weird because of course we have to breathe as we cheer as well, but breathing is also a form of expression in dance, if that makes sense. So it really shows fluency and harmony with your movement. So it kind of goes back to number 2 and really feeling the music, that your breaths and how you breathe during dance is a little different than cheerleading. So anyway, I hope that that makes sense. Trust and believe that if I can go from being a cheerleader and being that sharp, rah-rah type of performer on the sidelines that we all know and that we all love, because cheerleaders are super important. If I can go from being that type of performer to being a dancer, then I am certain that you can too. And hopefully these 5 tips will help you figure that out. And if you're having any trouble, obviously contact us, info@sidelineprep.com. Connect with us on social media. If anyone watching this video has any tips, if you're a former cheerleader turned dancer, please jot them below. If you have any questions, we would love to hear from you as well. Love to answer your questions. All right, that is all for now. Give us a thumbs up. Be sure to share this video, and we will see you next week. Make it a great day. I'll talk to you later. Bye.